Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to discuss the exercises or some important questions of the respiratory system, right? First, first of all, differentiate, right? Breathing and respiration. What is the difference between breathing and respiration? Breathing is a physical process. Respiration is a biochemical process. Breathing, it simply involves exchange of gases. Respiration, it involves oxidation of glucose into carbon dioxide, water, and energy, where glucose combines with the oxygen, gives carbon dioxide, water, and 38 ATP molecules of energy is released. Here taking into oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. In case of breathing, no energy is released. In case of respiration, energy is released in the form of ATP. Breathing, it takes place outside the cells, whereas respiration, it takes place inside the cell. Differentiate. Enzymes are not used in this process, that is in breathing, whereas in respiration, enzymes take part in the process of oxidation of nutrients, right? Now the next one, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, it takes place in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic respiration, it takes place in the absence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration, glucose is completely oxidized or broken down. In case of anaerobic, glucose is not completely broken down. Aerobic respiration, the end products are carbon dioxide and water. In anaerobic respiration, the end products are alcohol and carbon dioxide. Aerobic respiration, 38 ATP molecules are produced, whereas in case of anaerobic respiration, only 2 ATP molecules are produced. Okay, now just let us see here. Next one, difference between respiration and combustion. Respiration, it takes place in cells. Combustion, it takes place outside the cell. Respiration, it is a biological process. Combustion, it is a non-biological process. Respiration, it takes place with the help of enzymes. Combustion, it does not require any enzyme. Respiration, energy is slowly released in the form of ATP, where in case of combustion, energy is released immediately in the form of heat and light. Next, fermentation and glycolysis. Fermentation, glucose is broken down into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide, whereas in the glycolysis, glucose is broken down into pyruvic acid, right? Fermentation, it takes place only in plant cell. Glycolysis, it takes place in both animal as well as in plant cell. Next, define the important terms. First, fermentation. It is defined as the process of breakdown of glucose in the absence of oxygen, but with the help of enzyme. Zymase to form ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide, and release of energy. Next, ventilation of lung. The passage of air in and out of the lungs is called ventilation. What is ventilation? The passage of air in and out of the lungs is called ventilation. Inspiration. What is inspiration? The taking in of air from outside to inside of the lungs is called inspiration, right? Now, what is expiration? Expiration, the movement of air from the lungs to outside the body into the atmosphere is called expiration. Hypoxia, it is the condition when the body receives reduced supply of oxygen for its tissues and organs. Asphyxia, it is a condition in which there occurs a reduced supply of oxygen accompanied by the increase in CO2 concentration in the body. मतलब ये कंडीशन होती है जब हम ब्रीथ करते हैं, तो ब्रीथ करने में whatever the air we are breathing in which that is in the polluted air, in oxygen, carbon dioxide more, and so we have problem in breathing. That is called asphyxia. Now answer the following questions. Name the two respiratory tubes which enter the respiratory lungs. The two respiratory, that is bronchi. It is bronchi, left and right bronchi. Why is vital capacity of athletes higher than the non-athletes? Because of exercise and practice, their vital capacity is higher than the non-athletes. Now here, mention the functions. Epiglottis. It is a muscular flap closes over the glottis at the time of swallowing of food to prevent the entry of food into the trachea. What is glottis? A small hole through which air enters into the lungs. Glottis, it is a small hole through which air enters into the lungs. Bronchi, they carry air to and from the left to and from the left and right lungs. Means they are the circular alveoli, they are there from where the air moves in and air moves out. Bronchioles, narrow tree-like branches of bronchi through which gases diffuse to and from alveoli. Alveoli, bronchi, bronchioles से जुड़े होते हैं. Bronchioles ये bifurcated, ये जो उसके लंग्स की जो ब्रांचेस होती हैं उनसे होते हैं. जैसे आप यहाँ पर ये देख रहे हैं, ये लंग्स हैं, ये है ब्रोंक्यूल्स है, और ये है एल्वेलाई या ब्रोंकाई. ये है एल्वेलाई या ब्रोंकाई और ये है ब्रोंक्यूल्स, एल्वेओलर डक्ट या ब्रोंक्यूल्स इनको कहते हैं. और इसके ऊपर जो है यहाँ पर जो होते हैं ये ट्यूब लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होते हैं, इसमें ब्लड कैपिलरीज है. तो ये जो छोटे छोटे गुच्छे इनके अंदर स्मॉल एयर स्पेसेस होते हैं, ये गोल गोल होते हैं ऐसे, और यहाँ पर ब्लड कैपिलरीज ब्लड फ्लो करती हैं जिससे कि ये चेंज होते हैं. राइट. नाउ हियर the fully grown human fetus respires but not breathe. Now what happens? The fully grown fetus, it gets its oxygen directly from the mother's blood by its diffusion, while CO2 diffuses out. This requires house of lungs and therefore fetus does not breathe. This requires the house of lungs, means only lungs are required, and because exchange of gases from the atmosphere does not take place, it absorbs oxygen from the mother's body. So only the lungs are worked. So it respires but does not breathe. Exchange of gases takes place in the mother's body, not in the fetus. Breathing rate increases after a vigorous physical exercise. See, when physical exercise is done, then the amount of CO2 in the body increases and the body requires more oxygen. This is done by increase in the rate of breathing. As more and more we breathe, then more and more oxygen is entered inside the body and more glucose is oxidized. Explain briefly the mechanism of inspiration. See, when the diaphragm contracts, it becomes flat and causes an increase in the volume of the thoracic cavity. In addition, the intercostal muscles contract to raise the chest and increase the volume of the chest cavity. So, it decreases air pressure inside, causing the atmospheric air to rush in, causing the inspiration. Causing the inspiration or the inhalation. इसमें क्या? Taking in air, ribs moves upward, diaphragm contracts and moves down and flattened, chest cavity increases and air rushes into the lung. When lungs gets filled with air, then inhaled air, exchange of the gases occurs. Now mention the composition of the inhaled and exhaled air. Inhaled air, it has oxygen 21%, carbon dioxide 0.04%, carbon dioxide 0.04%, and the nitrogen 79%. Here also I have not mentioned, and it has less moisture. Whereas exhaled air, it has oxygen 16.4%, rest is absorbed. Carbon dioxide 4.4%, means more carbon dioxide is given out. ये जितना इसमें कार्बन एब्जॉर्ब करेगा उतना ही कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बाहर निकलती है, एंड इट हैज मोर मॉइस्चर. नाउ राइट द रोल ऑफ रिब्स इन द, रिब्स का ब्रीदिंग में क्या रोल होता है? See, ribs are attached to intercostal muscles. When these muscles contract, they raise or lower the ribs, resulting in raising or lowering the chest. When chest rises, inspiration occurs, and when it lowers, expiration occurs. I hope it is clear. Name the following. The cell organelle in which oxygen is required for the oxidation of food. What it is? It is mitochondria. The organs with which reptiles, birds, and mammals breathe. It is the lungs. Another name for external respiration, it is the breathing. The function of unit of lungs where exchange of gases takes place, alveoli. The uppermost part of the trachea which helps in the production of sound, it is the larynx or the voice box. The flap-like cartilaginous structure which closes the aperture leading to the tracheal tube, it is epiglottis. The necessary conditions, dry or moist, for the exchange of gases for respiration, it is the moist. The surface must be moist for the exchange of gases, right? Now the next one comes. The process by which the exchange of gases in the alveoli and tissues takes place, that is the diffusion. It is the diffusion. Now, describe the role of diaphragm in breathing. Small questions I gave you so that the topic is going to get it clear. Diaphragm helps in breathing. When it contracts, it becomes flat and increases the volume in the thoracic cavity, causing inspiration due to fall in air pressure. When the diaphragm relaxes, it becomes dome shaped, causing decrease in the volume of the chest cavity and increase in the air pressure. It results in expulsion of air that is called expiration. It is the same as the inhalation and the exhalation. As you can see it over in this diagram, breathing. When the rib cage was abroad, diaphragm contracts. जब diaphragm नीचे आता है तो lungs की cavity air space बढ़ गया, lungs are filled with the air. ये pleural cavity जिससे lungs करते हैं. अब जब diaphragm relax होगा तो इसका volume कम हुआ, pressure से तो air बाहर चली गई. What is the function of alveoli? Alveoli helps in exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. It is advisable to breathe through the nose and not through the mouth. Explain. If breathing takes place through the mouth, the foreign particles and germs enter the lungs directly. On the other hand, if breathing takes place through the nose, the dust particle, germs, etc., they get trapped by the mucus and hairs of the nose, so the lungs get protected from infection. I hope it is clear. The ultimate end parts of the respiratory system in man are alveoli. The lungs of the man are protected by pleural membrane, that is the pleura. Residual volume is the volume of air left in the lungs after deepest exhale. बहुत ज्यादा से ब्रीथ करें तो भी 1500 ml गैस ऐसे एयर वॉल्यूम होता है जो कि शरीर से बाहर नहीं तो लंग्स कोलैप्स कर जाएंगे. अगर बिल्कुल एयर नहीं होगी तो लंग्स कोलैप्स कर जाएंगे. Name the smallest amount of inhaled air in the respiratory tract that does not take part in the gaseous exchange. It is called the dead space air. Smallest amount of the inhaled dead space air. State one function of ciliated epithelium lining the respiratory tract: to transport the mucus with the trapped germs and foreign particles towards the pharynx to be coughed out. जो एयर हम इनहेल करते हैं, जो उसमें डस्ट पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, जो हमारे नोज में एयर होते हैं, इन्फ्लेट करते हैं, तो कफ के जरिए जो होते हैं वो उसमें बाहर निकल जाते हैं. व्हाट इज टाइडल वॉल्यूम? टाइडल वॉल्यूम इज द वॉल्यूम of the air breathed in and out during effortless respiration. It represents the volume of air renewed in the respiratory system during each respiration. It is about 500 centimeter cube in the adult person. वो वॉल्यूम जो कि ब्रीथ आउट डिफरेंट, जो हम बैठे हैं कोई का कोई एफर्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं तब भी जो ब्रीदिंग होती है उस ब्रीदिंग को जो टाइडल वॉल्यूम वो होता है 500 सेंटीमीटर क्यूब. इंस्पायरेटरी रिजर्व वॉल्यूम. Inspiratory reserve volume is the air that can be breathed in over and above the tidal air. It is about 300 centimeter cube. It is also called the complemented air. जब हम बहुत कोशिश करके कस के रेस्पायर करते हैं तो उस वक्त जो हम रेस्पिरेशन होते हैं वो हमारा 3000 सेंटीमीटर क्यूब तक जाता है. एंड एक्सपायरेटरी रिजर्व वॉल्यूम क्या होता है? द एयर दैट कैन बी एक्सपेल्ड आउट फोर्सिबली after an ordinary expiration is termed as expiratory reserve और supplemented air. ये भी करीब 1000 सेंटीमीटर क्यूब होती है. Vital capacity. If a person first inspires with his utmost effort and then expires it also with the maximum effort, the volume of air breathed out is called the vital capacity, and it is about 3500 to 4500 centimeter cube in a normal adult person. It represents the maximum capacity of the individual to renew the air in this respiratory system, and the vital capacity is higher in athletes than in non, because athletes they also do the exercises and the all other things. What is residual volume? A person cannot expel all the air from the lungs even with the maximum effort. Even after a maximum forceful expiration, about 1500 centimeter cube of air is still left in the lungs and other parts of the respiratory system. This volume can never be driven out and is called the residual volume. यानी कि ये रेसिडुअल वॉल्यूम कंपल्सरी लंग्स में इतना रहता है, अदरवाइज द लंग्स द alveoli they are going to collapse. Give the overall chemical reaction to represent the process of respiration. C6H12O6 plus 6O2, it gives 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O and energy is released. Name the two muscles that handle the respiration. It is intercostal muscles and muscular. Why does one usually feel dizzy at high altitude? Because at high altitude, the percentage of oxygen in the atmosphere becomes low, so we feel dizzy at high altitude. I hope you will get benefited by this question. Any doubt, any other question which you want to ask, you can ask me in the comment section. Again, we will meet in the next video. Thank you.